Yes. And now from today, we're going to start with another model, that is triarchic theory of intelligence, right? Who has given this model? Who has given this theory? Robert Sternberg. The name of the psychologist is Robert Sternberg, and he has given triarchic theory of intelligence. Why he has named it triarchic means three kinds of intelligence are there, right? And what are those three kinds of intelligence? First is componential intelligence, which is also known as analytical. You have to remember both the names because the second name is describing about it in a way. Componential means analytical, when we analyze something. The second one is experiential intelligence, which is also known as creative intelligence, right? The third kind is contextual intelligence. The other name for contextual is what? Practical intelligence. So this second name is suggesting a lot about this intelligence. Now, whenever you start with this model or with this theory, if a 4-mark question is there, even sometimes 6-mark question is also there, you have to explain the whole theory with a real life example, right? Then how you're going to start? You will always start describing the definition of intelligence as given by Robert. And what is it? The ability to adapt, to shape and select environment to accomplish one's goals and those of one's society and culture, right? What he's saying, that intelligence is a thing, it is an ability through which we can adapt to our environment, we can also shape it, we can modify it, right? We can manipulate the things, and we can also select things out of the environment. So adapting, shaping and selecting. And all these things are done to accomplish or to achieve our goals, our targets, which we have set up, and those of society and culture as well, right? Because society and culture is also have some kind of expectations from us at different stages, at different ages of our lifespan, right? So this is all about the intelligence definition given by Robert. Now, componential intelligence, the other name as it is saying, analytical. This intelligence is having 3 steps, 3 levels, I can say. The first one is what? The knowledge acquisition component. This componential intelligence is having the first level, which is known as the knowledge acquisition component. Knowledge acquisition means, simply it means that we are acquiring certain skills, we are acquiring certain knowledge, right? In the form of, we are learning it from someone, or we are reading it, or we are getting it from any source, and in a way we are learning those things, right? Second component is what? Meta or higher order component. Meta or higher order component, it is a kind of component which is involving higher cognitive skills, in which what is there? Planning is there, right? We plan something, what to do, how to do it. We also decide the duration. We also think about the consequences. So altogether, planning is there in the meta or higher order component. About that acquisition of skill, we have learned something. Now we are planning at how to achieve it, how to do this. All kind of planning is there. The third level is performance component. We have acquired certain knowledge, we have learned certain skill. Then what we are doing, we are planning about the different aspects of that learning, right? How to do, when to do, yes, what will be the process and what to do. The third stage will be the performance, how we will implement in real life, how we will do it practically. So now the homework for all you people is, you will give me a real life example, an example from your daily life to explain me this componential intelligence tomorrow. Getting my point, all of you students? What is the homework? We have understood the concept, we have discussed, I have explained. Now you all will going to give me an example to explain this componential intelligence with the help of any example from your daily life, from your surrounding, or whatever. So we're going to understand this tomorrow with the help of an example. Now, the second component of triarchic theory is what? Experiential intelligence. As the other name is what? Creative intelligence. What is it all about? It is reflected in your creative performances. Persons high on this aspect integrate different experiences in an original way to make new discoveries and inventions. Again, homework for you. You are going to explain me this with the help of an example now. Right? I have explained you when I explained this concept first time, I have given an example. If you remember that one, very nice. If you don't, no problem. Come up with your own example to explain how someone, show this experiential intelligence through their creative performances. And what does it mean by discovering or new inventions, or they are doing some amendments and they are coming up with new discovery or invention. Right? So experiential intelligence, another example I want from all of your side. Now the third one is contextual intelligence. Context, it has come from the word context. Certain background is there, certain context is there, right? So the other name is practical intelligence. What does it? The other names could be street smartness or business sense. Now, underline these two words, and OTQ could be asked, right? So, practical, contextual, street smartness, business sense, all are one and the same thing. What happens under this intelligence? It involves the ability to deal with the environmental demands encountered on a daily basis. Now, what does this mean? See, every day we are facing with new challenges. There is a prescribed schedule for all of you, right? We have a proper routine. We have a proper set of activities, daily activities that we regularly do, right? Apart from these things, certain challenges comes all of a sudden. Certain kind of emergencies come all of a sudden. What are all these? These are environmental demands, right? So this intelligence helps us to deal with these kind of environmental challenges in the form of adaptations we made to it, in the form of modifications, manipulations we make to it, right? Another, you have to explain this intelligence again with the help of an example tomorrow. So all the three components of triarchic theory, I need a real life example. Just apply your mind, just try to observe the things, just try to look into your surroundings, right? That how you can share me any of your experience also in which you have shown this contextual intelligence or practical intelligence, and the layman language street smartness or business sense, right? So this is all about the triarchic theory of intelligence. Let us also start discussing the another one, that is PASS model, right? The PASS model is planning, attention arousal, and simultaneous or successive model. P stands for planning, A stands for attention dash arousal, and SS stands for, one S for simultaneous learning and another S for successive learning, right? Now, when we're going to explain this model, again, I'm reminding you, never follow this procedure as this short form is going PASS, right? We will always start as it is happening really. In reality, how does these things take place? So first, arousal and attention is there. So we're going to explain that. Then simultaneous or successive learning is there. And in the last, planning is there. So while explaining the model, while writing the model, we'll always follow this sequence. But whenever we put a short, an abbreviation is there, so it will in the form of PASS, just to give it a meaningful sense. PASS is a word, right? So it is easy for you people to remember. That is why they just form this abbreviation. Now you just remember the initials or the surnames of the psychologist. This model has been given by 3 psychologists: J.P. Das, Jack, Negleri, and Kirby, right? So just remember Das, Jack, and Kirby. If you can remember the year, well good, but no need to remember as such. If you can remember, it's good. Now, what is important? This model is telling us that intellectual activity, any activity which is related to intelligence, involves the interdependent functioning. These are dependent on each other, of three neurological systems called the functional units of brain. Now, these units or these functional units of brain are responsible for what? For arousing us, for giving attention, for processing or coding down something, and then planning respectively, right? So this is important. You can start again with your explanation of this model with these lines, and then we'll start giving the first step, the first level, that is arousal oblique attention. What is it? State of arousal is basic to any behavior as it helps us in attending to stimuli. Until and unless you will not be aroused, you will not be in a conscious state, you will not able to attend to things, right? So arousal is the primemost, is the foremost requirement. Fine. Arousal and attention enable a person to process information, to take the information, to grasp it, to acquire it. An optimal level of arousal focuses our attention to the relevant aspects of a problem. Now, this is important when we'll explain arousal and attention, what will be the key lines. Yes, the second important feature of this, that too much or too little arousal would interfere with attention. They are saying a optimal level of arousal should be there. Neither too much nor too little arousal should be there, because both of them have harmful effects. Right, so optimal level of arousal should be there, and it will help you in gaining your goals and targets successfully. Arousal forces you to focus your attention on reading, learning, and revising the contents of the chapter. Right, simple. Now let us proceed towards the second step, simultaneous and successive processing. Now, when we talk about processing the information, as we process the information in computers, so what we are doing, we are encoding, we are doing the coding also, we are decoding something, right? All these terms are interrelated. So we are processing the information in certain manner or in certain patterns. So these are certain patterns to learn the things. Simultaneous learning में हम कैसे याद करते हैं? We are forming association between the things. We are perceiving certain kind of relations. As I have given you the example of Raven's progressive matrices, right? I have shown you one diagram. It is given in your book also. Just to remind you again, it's on page number 14. You all can see figure 1.3, right? There is an image given on the top of the paper, right? And under it, 6 images are there. So out of the 6, which one will suit in that box, in that empty box? So how you're going to find the answer? You will see the background. So which will be the correct answer? Number 4, right? Number 4 design will fit the most into this empty pattern, right? So this is how you are finding the relations. This is how you are finding the association. So this is known as simultaneous learning. What is successive processing or successive learning? It is a kind of learning that takes place when you remember all the information serially. Serially means in certain order, in certain sequence, so that the recall of one thing will lead to the recall of another. As it happens in tables, whenever we learn the table, or as it happening in finding out certain formulas, right? Learning of digits, alphabets, multiplication, tables, all these are example of successive processing. So these two kinds of processing, these two kinds of learning we have discussed. Now the last step, the last level of this model is planning. Now under planning, all you know what you have to write. Whenever we plan for something, what we are doing, we are thinking about the possible alternatives, about the possible courses of action which could be there. and we are implementing also them. We are practically doing all those things to reach our target, and we are also evaluating or analyzing their effectiveness कि कौन सा alternative, कौन सा option सबसे अच्छा रहेगा जिससे जल्दी से जल्दी we can achieve our goal and target, right? This also you can relate with any example from our daily life when we prepare for exams. So you think about many alternatives. हम इस तरह से पढ़ाई करेंगे, we will follow this kind of schedule, we will follow these books, and in reality you implement also some of those course of action, and you also try to evaluate if time is short in the exam. What you will do, you will go for quick kind of techniques which will yield you effective results in a short duration. So in this, what all things you have to use specific words that we are evaluating their effectiveness, we are planning or all possible courses of action, we are implementing them. For example, to take the test scheduled by your teacher, you can give this example as well. In the last, what is important? Cognitive assessment system is there, CAS. This has been given by Das and Naglieri. They have developed a battery of tests. I told you a battery of tests means lot of tests are there. A number of tests are there. Not only one test is there, but suppose we are testing aptitude, so there are 8 fields in which we can test the aptitude. So this will be called a battery of tests. So these two psychologists have given CAS, in which what they are trying to analyze, what they are trying to test, they are giving it in a form of verbal as well as non-verbal tasks. And they are trying to get an idea about the cognitive efficiency of an individual. And by applying these tests, we can come to know about certain learning disorders, if it is there, about certain cognitive deficit, if it is there in a certain child, right? What is the important feature of this battery of tests, CAS? That these are the measuring basic cognitive functions presumed to be independent of schooling. Just underline the line if you can all locate it. Page number 9, second last line. Independent of schooling. What does it mean? That these are giving you certain tasks in which if a child is not attending or hasn't attended the school previous, he hasn't gone to school, then also that child will be able to perform all these cognitive tasks in an effective manner. So they have designed this CAS in a form in which schooling is not required. So this is an important feature of CAS. Another is that it consists of verbal and non-verbal cognitive tasks, right? So this is all about the FAST model. Yes, ma'am, we can stop with the recording.